I just said, so yeah, this was great. And when the guys heard it, they were so fired up. And that's the great thing about being retired and then coming out of retirement with a win deal. We came out of retirement, but it still allowed me to pick and choose, what I wanted to do. So this was one of those things that came up that I wasn't going to miss, and I was so thankful that the committee here allowed us to. Yes?
Once you had decided in your mind that you were coming, did you then realize you had to ask Ms. Yearwood and your girls?
No, we always ask them first. I would say, this is coming up, I'd like to do it, and they're in. The hardest part is realizing you got 40 pounds to lose. Usually, that's the deal. I mean, I haven't eaten for about 4 or 5 days. So tonight,
This might be the wrong place.
yes. Tonight I'm going to gain about 20 pounds between, midnight and about 4 in the morning. Yes, ma'am.
Are you still writing songs, and where do you get your inspiration?
No, I write because I'm in music. So there are ideas always, but it's just not time yet. I don't know how to say that. There are ideas that you had that if you don't write them, someone's going to do it, and it's happened over the last 10 years a lot because we're all the same human, so everyone has the same ideas. But it's just not time, and it's cool. But I am amassing. When you say, what have you learned from your kids? You are amassing these wonderful things you want to say that I think we all want to say. There's a song out there that I know it's coming. It's going to be titled, "Is Anybody Else Feeling This Way?" And it's just about us right now. Do we really have a voice? And your country might be different from mine, but not right now. It's just like the common man just seems to not be. I'm not sure they're being represented the way that they used to be. So that might be one of the things. Another one which I love is a guy that sees a guy at a bar and he looks like hell. Total hell, and he just comes up to him and the whole song is, "You must be dating my ex." That's good country music. Yes.
Is there anything that you really like to do that's celebrity status prevents you from doing? Privacy, life,
That's a great question, and maybe if I was in some other form of music, we did an album we did a tribute album for Kiss with those guys, and who they were on this side of the door and who they were when they walked back out in the public were two totally different figures because they have to zip it up, they have to put it on. Billy Joel's the same way. In here, he'll cut up with you. Out there, he gets out. He's in New York, that's his deal. And so I think country music allows you to get to do whatever you want, whenever you want, because I think they really want you to be the guy next door. So no, my own athletic ceilings have kept me from doing what I want to do. Things like that, my own abilities, but never the opportunity. It's always been there, and people have always been sweet. That's a very insightful question for this world, and I think for some other format other than country music, probably so.
Mr. Brooks?
Yes, sir.
You've said before in the past that you used to watch some of the great classic rock legends in terms of seeing how they performed on stage and what their behavior was. Our tickets sold out for you in 58 seconds. When you were a little guy or a teenager, is there anyone you waited on the phone for or walked up to the box office hoping to see to get one of those tickets?
No, and I don't even know how to say this other than say it. It's not a put on. It's nothing. We never could afford to go to any concerts. We just never. That was never a thing. And Dad, I want to go see Kiss. He would have whipped my ass all over. So no, it was just never anything. So when my brother sheltered me my whole life. The last two kids of the six. I'm a baby, and my brother Kelly. So everything Kelly did, he kind of had to take me with him. So my first concert was with Kelly and all that stuff, and they knew he would watch out over me and stuff. So my first concert was Styx or Kansas, one of those two. And the one thing that you notice about concerts back then was, and I still don't know the physics of it all, how it happens, but the seconds the light went out, that marijuana smell just went, boom. What is that? That was my first thing of rock concerts. It was really wild. And so Kelly kind of taught me all about all that stuff and kind of raised me in that world. But Tammy Sherman, my high school sweetheart, gave me a surprise. 13th row, Freddie Mercury and Queen. Man, that changed my life. I mean, standing on that chair, I got my hands out. I'm screaming as loud as I can, and I can't hear myself. This is what I want to do right here. That was a big thing. And then when I heard George Strait, it was over. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and there was already one of him, so I had to find something else to do, and so that's what led.
Is there a message that you have for those people that couldn't get tickets and you sold out quickly?
Yeah, just again, if they don't mind waiting, I mean, it's been 16 years since they were before. If they don't mind waiting, we're going to come back with a show, hopefully, that I'm hoping you love this show, but I'm hoping we blow this show out of the water, you know, and for the same price. And, you know, maybe if, the only way we know to combat scalpers, since it's in the government's hands, is to put more tickets available than demand. That's always been our thing. So if we come back here and there's enough people to put on a show, we'll feel lucky. If there's enough people to put on 100 shows, we're gonna camp, you know, it'll be fun.
When you were here last, yeah, I had to line up to buy tickets. Do you see maybe going back to that to get rid of scalping?
Well, what happened with the lining up for tickets, we used to do the wristband thing. And then what happened was the scalping companies would hire these guys just to come in, they break in line, and you couldn't, and it became a physical thing then too. So, but the internet has added so much to it. So these guys did a great job here. You might have heard a lot about scalping, but the percentage-wise, I'm hoping was down and getting fewer every time.
Next question, please.
Just wanted to go back to the food thing for a moment,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
Miss
I'm
Earwood
always-
has
I'm
that.
always fine with
Yeah, I
that.
thought has that great show, her awesome
ma'am.
cooking show. So does she do some of that with you at home? Do you guys kind of cook as a family? Does she experiment for the show with you?
Yeah, the thing with Tricia is if you've ever met her, she's the real deal. She's real as the guy comes. And she'll tell you she's from a small town in Georgia. She's from outside a small town in Georgia. I mean, she's out there. And so, and they're sweet people, and she does this. So the first thing you always notice on any of her cooking shows is the expert chef comes in, and they say, you know, they're trying to feel her out to see if she really cooks. And 2 minutes with her, they just back off and go, this gal, she knows her stuff. And that's what I love about her cooking show. When I see her cooking show, it's not like I'm saying, who's scripting this? She goes, it's not scripted. You can tell it's not. And she doesn't leave anything out. I like all the little tips and everything about cracking eggs in a separate bowl. I learned that, I'm 50 and I just learned it on her show. I mean, of course, that makes sense, cracking in another bowl. And that way all the shells don't go, little things like that I love.
What's your most favorite dish that she makes?
Jiminy Christmas. She made a cheesecake last night for this little boy's birthday. It's just, doesn't stop, you know. I mean, fantastic. She can do anything. She's turned me on to a lot of dishes that they had down there, like Brunswick stew that I'd never heard of before. And then some things like we grew up hating, like SOS. If you ever ate that, if your dad was in the military, you ate a lot of SOS. And it was, SOS stands for shit on a shingle. It's hard. It stretches a lot for a lot of kids. And she can even make that. Tastes fantastic. The greatest cook ever in my life before was my mom. The prettiest woman ever in my life before was my mom. And Miss Sherwood has, I know my mom will be okay with me saying this, Miss Sherwood has won both those titles. She's great. You guys have been very sweet. Does anybody have one more question? Is everybody good?
Everybody wants to know if you want to.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.